Storm winds gusting as high as 65 miles per hour, and that can make a lot of things airborne. If you have trash cans out, anything like that, please secure plants. Anything that might become airborne that could end up a porch object is now a living room object. So if you would do that. I'd also like to say I know the storm is very stressful. It's very slow moving. I expected it to be moving about 12 miles per hour. At this point, it's moving at 8 miles per hour, and it's expected to slow down to about 6. So with that, Dennis, if you would come up and give us some more details, and then we'll hear from some of the other elected officials as well as the county manager with some instructions. Thank you. And again, I want to also thank our state partners for being here. GEMA has been with us this entire time, representing us. And we have Congressman Carter, who's behind me. And I want to thank him for being here and making certain that whatever federal support we need will be available. And with that, Dennis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As many of you already know, Chatham County, we remain in a tropical storm warning, a hurricane watch, and a storm surge warning. Hurricane Dorian is roughly, as the chairman had mentioned, about 168 miles southeast of Savannah. The core should pass past the Georgia coast sometime today or into tonight, with the eye of the storm being about between 60 and 70 miles off our shore sometime overnight. Dorian is expected to remain a powerful hurricane with a Category 2 status off of our coast, and Chatham County remains in operating condition 1. We are expecting winds to start coming into the area around noon today and gradually deteriorate throughout the night. And then into Thursday, the storm system should be passing us. So we've got about a 24 to 26 hour period where we'd be seeing winds from Tropical Storm Dorian, with the worst being overnight. We are looking at 40 to 50 mile an hour sustained tropical storm force winds in inland or interior part of Chatham County, with 55 to 65 along the coast. There is the possibility that this track could continue to shift west, and if that happens, then the wind increase and the flooding from storm surge and rainfall could also increase. We have talked about several things that we've done in preparation for Hurricane Dorian. I mentioned some of those yesterday, and I'd like to go ahead and give you an update on those before I tell you what the next preparedness efforts are. We did, through the evacuation assembly area, move 1,189 people yesterday. Through the functional access process, we moved 68 people yesterday. And through our medical needs program, we have relocated 32 people. So we have everyone who is on our functional access and medical needs registry have been evacuated to a safe location or have been placed in a medical facility for safe care. We are anticipating that the National Weather Service is anticipating that we could have rainfall of 6 to 10 inches along the coast and rainfall of 4 to 8 inches in other parts of Chatham County. Our storm surge is expected to be 3 to 5 feet. Yesterday at this time we were expecting 4 to 7. So our storm surge estimates now are about 3 to 5 feet above normally dry ground. There is a potential for heavy rainfall in those 6 to 10 and 4 to 8 inches. Storm surge on top of the king tide could exacerbate those flooding conditions throughout our community. And we also need to be prepared to have some issues of isolation, some communities that could be isolated throughout the area. Our evacuation efforts, they will continue through about noon today. I-16 is still contraflowed. If you have an interest in evacuating the area, you need to do so as soon as possible. The storm is expected to start having an impact to our area sometime early afternoon and continue to deteriorate throughout the evening. Water and sewer, we have confirmed that no municipality is scheduled to turn off water at this time. For those who have a private water service, residents need to contact their provider for more information. While the storm's impact has yet to be determined during the evacuation process, there are American Red Cross shelters that are open throughout the state. If you have an interest in identifying where those Red Cross shelters are, you can call 1-800-RED-CROSS, 1-800-RED-CROSS. The airport is open, but they do expect flight cancellations through Friday morning, and they are encouraging you to check with your airline for the status of your flight. Do not call the airport, call your airline directly. Customers customers who wish to return a rental car may utilize the drop boxes located at the rental car companies. The emergency departments at St. Joe's Candler and Memorial, they will remain open. Chatham Emergency Services has also arranged with Chatham County Marine Patrol and also the Coast Guard to transport any patients that may be on a barrier island that is isolated. They have already coordinated with Marine Patrol and the Coast Guard in order to make sure that those people can get off an island and get to a medical attention. A dedicated paramedic is also assigned to Skidaway Island, and a paramedic ambulance crew is dedicated to the Chatham County Detention Center. All animal issues that we are aware of, animal care issues we are aware of have been handled. For stray or unattended animals and pet emergencies during the storm, the West Bryan Street Animal Care Center will be open 24/7. Chatham County offices are closed through Thursday. The courts are closed through the end of the week. They will reopen on Monday. City of Savannah offices are closed through Thursday. Savannah-Chatham County Public School System is closed through Friday. Just had a note here. GMA, looks like that I-16, the removal of contraflow is going to start at noon today on I-16, and the Talmadge Bridge will remain closed. So Chatham Area Transit is suspending operations until further notice. I mentioned the Talmadge Bridge will remain closed. The other bridges throughout the community, that is going to be dependent on what law enforcement sees when the winds start arriving. So the law enforcement officers in our municipalities and the unincorporated area, they have the authority to close a bridge if it's unsafe. So they'll be making those determinations bridge by bridge. And I also mentioned that we remain at operating condition 1. All right, we have several people who would like to offer a few comments about their municipality or their entity. So at first, I'd like to bring up Garden City Mayor Bethune.
Thank you, Dennis. I'd just like to let our residents know in Garden City, City Hall continues to be closed today and tomorrow. However, we have staff manning the switchboards each of those days between 8 and 5 for questions and concerns about the storm only. So our switchboard continues to be open today and tomorrow between 8 and 5. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Tybee Island, Jason Vilterman.
Thanks, Dennis. Just want to emphasize that obviously Tybee is the most vulnerable part of the county to storm surge and wind. And if this storm wobbles a little bit west, we could be in for a situation that's probably analogous to what happened with Hurricane Matthew. And we are urging people to leave. The window of opportunity to leave Tybee is rapidly closing. The Weather Service, is anticipating that Highway 80 will be covered with water today at the high tide cycle. High tide will be at 1 p.m. today. So we're urging people to leave the island today and don't get caught in a situation where you find yourself having to leave the island as that tide goes back down with tropical storm force winds. That's not safe. So we're again urging people to leave the island at this time. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dennis.
City of Savannah Mayor, Mr. Loeb.
I want to take a minute to thank all those folks that helped us make the transition for those people that went to Augusta and to other emergency centers. I want to thank each one of them. It goes all the way down from the governor's office all the way down to Chatham County and the City of Savannah, as well as Salvation Army. I want to thank each one of them. We had a great program in place. It ran smoothly. I think SEMA did a wonderful job in directing it. I think Dennis does a wonderful job in directing the whole operation. And I want to thank him for what he has done and he is doing, continues to do. The City of Savannah's Emergency Operations Center is open, started about 7 a.m. this morning to make sure we are in place and got things going there. And it'll be on staff and it'll be staffed all the time. We also have folks that woke up that maybe missed the boat on yesterday whenever we started getting everybody had an opportunity to get out. Some of them will walk up. We do not have bus service now. It's out. CAT is no longer running, but we do have folks that walk up. If you walk up to the Civic Center, you will not be turned away from the Civic Center. You will have a place of last resort. It'll be there whether, whether we are in there, we'll have meals there, we'll have things that we need to do for you there, we'll be able to take care of you there. So if you have that issue, or if you coming up and you don't know what to do, go there and we'll take care of you through this next 24 hours, 48 hours as we get through this service. I want to thank the police department. They're on go, they're ready to go, along with the fire department. We also have a boat ready to go if there's any need for that as we go through this tides and the issues of water and too much water. I do want to emphasize that if there's an opportunity for you to get out and you want to get out, please take that opportunity, because we don't know what this storm's going to do, and we do know what Matthew was, and this is acting just like Matthew. So just be careful out there. If you're not leaving, just hunker down and hold on, and we'll come and check you out when we get back, when we get through this system. But at 1 o'clock today and 1 o'clock tonight is a critical time, because that's when the water's the highest. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor Thunderbolt, Ms. Pat Cody.
Thank you, Dennis. I just have one announcement to make. Our police chief, Sean Clayton, wanted me to advise everybody and make this announcement that when or if the winds become sustainable at 39 miles an hour, the Memorial or Thunderbolt Bridge will be closed until further notice. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Sheriff John Wiltshire.
Thank you, Dennis. I'd like to recognize one of the people out of Atlanta, Hal Provo. He's with Homeland Security, and he's attached to the governor's office. A lot was said yesterday about the curfew with the city police put on. They arrested one person with that, and he also had an aggravated assault warrant on him. Last night, we arrested 23 people, 14 misdemeanors, 8 felonies, and 1 for out of county. I have 1,881 people in jail today and 4 in the hospital. If anybody would like a copy of this, you're welcome to get it after the news coverage. We're open, we're ready to go. We hope we don't have no more people come in, but that's the nature of the beast. So we appreciate everything that everybody's done. Everybody's done a great job with everything we've done for the last 2 days. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sheriff. Congressman Buddy Carter.
Well, I want to thank everyone up and down the coast. The emergency management personnel have done an outstanding job of getting us ready for this. And folks, the next 24 to 36 hours are crucial. It's upon us now. Camden County and the southernmost part of our state is going to be the first to be impacted, then Glenn, obviously. All of those communities are ready. If you haven't left yet, if you have an opportunity to leave, then we encourage you to do that. Please follow the directions of the emergency personnel. They are trained in this. Yes, we do plan for the worst and we hope for the best, but we have to do that. Keep in mind, the only thing predictable about hurricanes is that they are unpredictable. A simple wobble to the west of 20 miles could be crucial and could be devastating. So please follow the directions of the emergency personnel. They've done an outstanding job. Kudos to all of them up and down the coast. Please be safe. The next 24 to 36 hours are crucial. We want you to be safe. Thank you very much.
County Manager Lee Smith.
Good afternoon. Real quick, I know we're getting in our 911 center, we're getting calls about, where's a shelter? Don't call 911. Do not call 911 unless it is an emergency. Okay, they have enough traffic as it is. If you have a question about sheltering or about leaving or traffic, you should call 201-4500. That's the SEMA call center. That's 201-4500. County offices are closed tomorrow. I advise on our badges for county employees to call the 855 number starting maybe at noon up to 3 o'clock tomorrow. We anticipate if the winds dissipate enough that we'll have skeleton operations on Friday. As you know, our folks have to begin working to clear roads and that type of thing. So anyway, for county employees, 855, and check on county operation status. Thank you.
Chairman Scott?
I also want to thank Mayor Hardy Davis of the Consolidated Government in Augusta, Richmond County. He and I have been in constant communications about accepting our citizens at the shelter there, and I also want to thank the school system in Richmond County for making certain that we have room. They had to close some facilities to accommodate us. Mayor Hardy, Mayor Davis has been very gracious and cooperative with us, and I want to just thank Mayor Davis for his support and all the folk in Augusta, all the citizens of Augusta. Thank you for hosting us.
Thank you, sir. Georgia Power, Ms. Swan-Seiler.
Good morning. In anticipation of the outages and restoration, tomorrow midday, or when it is safe to do so, we have approximately 575 line crew personnel and contractors from across the state coming in to assist us. If necessary, we have assistance standing by from our sister companies, Alabama Power and Mississippi Power. 60 tree crews are also coming in to assist us. When they arrive, as you know, the first thing they will do is start the damage assessment, and when safe to do so, they will begin their restoration. As you know from before, their first job is to provide service to critical care areas, critical care customers. That's hospitals, police stations, 911 centers, and first responders. We'll keep you informed of our progress, and as you know, customers can visit our website, which is www.georgiapower.com/storm. There they can get outage alerts, they can report outages, and we will be keeping you updated. Our Atlanta Corporate Communications Office will be sending out press releases, and we will be reporting to you through here.
Thank you, ma'am. As a final statement before we open it up for questions, this is a very dangerous storm. You have a few more hours to wrap up your final preparation efforts. We do encourage you to leave if you still choose to leave. You still have time to do so. But this is a very dangerous storm for us. Right now it's forecast to be tropical storm force winds with some gusts that could go into hurricane strength gusts. So we do encourage you to have a safe location. If you are staying, to have a safe location. Make sure that you have a disaster kit available to you. Make sure that you are prepared to be without power for a period of time. There will also be a period of time after the winds reach 39-mile-an-hour winds where public safety will be pulled off the street. So if you do elect to stay, be advised that there will be no first responders available to help you when it gets too dangerous for them to travel along the roadways. So please be mindful of that. Another thing, after the storm passes us by, we have the potential to have some significant flooding throughout our community. We have the potential to have quite a bit of debris across our community, down power lines. Again, it'll be a very dangerous situation. We encourage everybody to stay in their homes, those who do stay, and make sure that you don't travel around the county. It will be very dangerous, not only for the conditions that you can see, but there's potentially things that you can't see that may be underneath the water, or you may see a power line that you think is de-energized and it has energy on it. It's also something that is very important that we take into account your safety as well as the safety of the public safety officials. So again, you have a few more hours to evacuate if you choose to do so. For those who choose to stay, please finalize your preparation efforts now. Make sure you're in a safe location. Make sure that you have the provisions available for you. All right, we will open it up for questions.
Sir, as far as the curfew status, will that be in place again tonight?
The City of Savannah still has a curfew in place, and the Town of Thunderbolt has a curfew in place. Both curfews start at 9 a.m. and continue to 6 a.m. in the morning.
9 p.m.
What did I say? 9 p.m. and continue to 6 a.m. in the morning.
And then as far as the contraflow stopping at noon, what was the reason for that?
I was just handed a note. I'm not sure what the foundation of it was. I was handed a note that says they were stopped contraflow at noon today.
Seems like a good sign.
Dennis, can you elaborate on the Civic Center and what's
Pardon?
Can you elaborate on the Civic Center and the sheltering that's going on there? Who can go?
I'll let
What's
Mayor
your
Deloach
list of-
answer that. She's asking about the Civic Center as a shelter.
What was the question?
What's going on there? How much room do you have? Who's welcome to come there?
Anyone needs that assistance can come there. But we basically got a skeleton crew there to make sure that anybody that comes there is safe. We got police and all that to take care of them. But the idea is there's always going to be somebody that needs a place to go, and we want to make sure we take care of the least of these, whoever it might be. So we're just going to have that available with some meals there. It's not the Hilton, but it's great whenever you don't have somewhere else to go.
How many people do you have room for there?
I got 10,000 seat facility, so we got plenty of room. But seriously, we're not anticipating very many people. We might, 10, 20, 30, might be 40, but whatever the case may be, we'll take whoever comes, and we'll be able to work. We can take care of any number that comes.
Do you have any there already?
I have no idea at this time.
Dennis, will roads be closed at some point? Are people advised to shelter in place as the storm picks up?
The roads will be closed based on what law enforcement sees throughout our community. They're the experts on public safety, so we're going to defer to them on if an area needs to be closed.
I guess what I'm asking is, is there a point, when winds hit a certain point or something, where you say, stay inside, don't go anywhere, instead of the advice to get out while you still can?
Yeah, our focus is 39-mile-an-hour winds. When winds reach 39-mile-an-hour sustained winds, it's too safe for large vehicles to be on the street. So that's when we're asking all public safety to come off the street. Obviously, we would want all of our citizens to be off the street at that time as well. So that's the magic number for us, is 39-mile-an-hour sustained winds.
There will be EMTs there also, so if there's a medical issue or something along that line, they'll be stationed there also. So, and we do have some that came to catch the bus this morning
At the Civic Center?
at the Civic Center. So we do have some that are already there.
Dennis, can you talk a little bit about when people can return? There's a lot of questions on reentry at this point.
Reentry is going to be deferred until we see what the storm brings us. It really depends on what kind of damages we see throughout the community. So we're really going to have to evaluate that. We'll be watching that overnight. We'll be collecting damage assessment information in the Emergency Operations Center and trying to find out, how bad Dorian has affected our community. And once we start getting a really good handle on that, we'll start putting in place our evacuation reentry phases. And we'll have to see what Dorian brings us. And it's all going to depend on when we can get essential services restored so that we can let the general population back in.
The answer is as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
As the storm is coming up the coast, obviously a lot of anticipation, a lot of concern. But in the big picture, if you found yourself maybe going, hey, we really potentially dodged the big one here. You allow yourself to do that? Because you really have.
Do we allow ourselves the opportunity to do what?
To feel good that you're not going to get a direct hit. Very likely that's not going to happen. So that must have eased your concerns a little bit anyway.
Well, the storm's still coming this way. It's a Category 2 storm right off our coast. And what I'm looking at is the error cone, and it could easily shift to the west. So I'm not going to relax until the storm has passed our coast.
That number of people that evacuated the Civic Center is obviously far less than it was for Matthew and Irma. Do you have any concerns about the fact that there's more people that are here in the county during the storm?
It actually aligns with what we had in Matthew and Irma. Matthew and Irma, we ran the evacuation assembly area for 2 days. So 2,100 people over 2 days. And in 1 day, yesterday, we actually had 1,100 or 1,189 was our number there.
But in terms of the total number of people in the county, fewer people left.
Fewer people did leave, yeah.
So I guess about what I'm asking is, is that a concern that there's more citizens around in their homes?
Yeah, it is a concern. We are trying to determine what our participation rate is for the evacuation process. I know before they started contraflow in I-16 was heavily trafficked, people trying to get out at noon, starting noon yesterday. So there was a lot of traffic on I-16 getting out. Once the contraflow happened, it started being heavy, and then it kind of weaned off from there. So we're trying to determine what our participation rate is, and I've got people in the Emergency Operations Center looking at those numbers now.
Is there anyone present that can speak to the contraflow decision?
There's no one from the DOT here, no.
Jason, do you know if US 80 is going to be shut down, and about what time that would happen if it does?
So the question was if 80 will be shut down. It is anticipated based on forecasts that it will be covered with water, and in that case, Chatham Police Chief Hadley and his team are doing a great job to make sure that they monitor that and advise us if it is shut down. So what would shut it down would be water during the time of high tides, in all likelihood today around 1 o'clock, and then this Thursday morning around 1:30 a.m. Maybe 2 hours before or 2 hours after. But then you have the situation of if water touches the bottom of the Bull River Bridge, the DOT's protocol is to shut it down until it can be inspected. So we have that issue as well, and we're trying to get on the top of the list for those inspections.
We have time for one more question. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.